Matthew and Dan here from MiniWarGaming.com. So what are we going to call this series?
Learning 6?
Learning 6 edition, 40K? Sure. Is it because we're learning it, or because they're learning it?
We know everything, so they're learning it.
Yeah, clearly. We're the experts. Yeah. Although, ironically, there's a lot of hobbyists who play the game a lot more than we do. Okay, anyways. This is another episode of Learning 6 edition, 40K. And I feel like you're far away. Why don't you move a little closer? There we go. Hi. And today we're going to cover... Hey, don't touch me. Today we're going to cover transports.
Yes.
And so we're going to have an orc truck move up and disembark and charge a bunch of termagants. So let's go take a look at that. We're going to learn all the different rules of open top. We're going to learn how they move, how they disembark. So it has changed a lot.
It has, actually.
Yeah, there's a lot of different things that have changed. So we're going to cover all that right now. So let's go take a look at the whole scenario and have some fun. So let's take a look. On my side, I've got 30 termagants. For the purpose of this scenario, they're going to be fearless. So we're going to pretend that they're in synapse. We're not going to have any synapse nearby, but we're just not worrying about that right now. That's not the point of this video. On the other side, we have a single truck filled with 12 boys. No upgrades, no knob with power claw. Is that a knob with power claw in there?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought we were going to say no knob with power claw.
But there's no situation ever that you would not take a knob with a power claw.
Okay, fine. That's not because I care about if you're gonna, yeah, you know you're going to kill me either way.
It just wouldn't make sense if it wasn't there.
Simplified.
Yeah, it just wouldn't make sense if it wasn't there.
So we have 11 boys plus a knob with power claw.
Yeah.
And that's it. Orcs are going to get first turn. Sure, and these guys are just all armed with flesh bores, which is the strength 5, 84, sorry, strength 4, 85, 12-inch shot. It's basically like a bolt pistol.
I never thought.
They could actually...
Because of Overwatch, I might get screwed here.
Oh yeah, Overwatch. I forgot about that.
Let's see. Well, because normally in 4th edition, or 5th edition, sorry, the squad of boys will be able to charge and kill them.
Yep, but now they all get to shoot. Now normally they hit on 4s, and now they're going to hit on 6s, because they're snapshots in Overwatch. So they won't be quite as effective. So that's only going to be like 5 hits at a wound on 4s. So you're only looking at losing 2 or 3 boys.
That's a big difference, though.
I know when you have 12 guys. But anyways, doesn't matter. Let's jump right into it. Orcs, turn 1. Alright, so the change here, the big change, is that you can only disembark from a vehicle if it's only moved 6 inches or less. Doesn't matter if it's fast, doesn't matter if it's open top. We've looked everywhere in the rules. Whereas before, the orcs could come out, if you had moved cruising speed basically, which is 12 inches normally, you could still disembark. So that's a bit of a nerf for the orc transports who normally move up 12, disembark. They're 3 inches, or 2 inches, but it's like, almost like 3 inches. And they get to charge their 6. But charge ranges can be longer, and you disembark 6 inches rather than just your 2.
I never thought it also might be a big nerf for like skimmer transports. To jump around and drop guys and then jump back in and jump around.
Yeah, exactly. They had to spend a turn just getting into position. And then guys would get out.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense if you're unloading guys compared to just stepping on the gas.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a huge difference. So if you don't move, moving all out, fast vehicles like my truck, if I didn't move, let's take a look.
Well, you know what? In this case...
Move 12. I can move a total of 24 inches in one turn, but I can't tank shot if I go all out. That's the possible movement of an orc truck.
Now, see if I can here's an interesting thing. If you disembark from a vehicle that hasn't moved, then you can still move. You can still move. Right?
I think you count as moving.
Let's check.
It is your move.
Yeah, so we checked, and so once you disembark, it is your move. The reason I was thinking that is I'm like, well, it doesn't really matter if a transport moves in, because you could just disembark the 6 and move 6. But in this case, that is not the case. So, go ahead with your turn. So you obviously want to try to charge these guys, and you should be close enough to get there as long as your charge roll doesn't really suck. So,
right,
and you're not painted red. Yeah, although it wouldn't matter because it doesn't say combat speed, it just says 6 inches or less. So even if you're painted red, you wouldn't get that 7 inches.
Huh.
Because it doesn't say combat speed. It says you can only disembark if you've moved less than...
But the red paint job says that you can move an inch without incurring any penalties for having moved that extra inch.
Okay, well if that's what it says.
So you would be able to move the 7.
Yeah, we'll have to double check that later, but you're not painted red. So
just to pre-measure, I am 16.5 inches away.
So you're gonna be able to move 6, disembark 6. That'll be 12 inches.
So that's realistic. Turn 2, if we both moved up, that should be, well, let's see. So, move 6 inches up.
So now, disembarking, the way it works is you place a model in base contact with an access point, which in a case of an open-top vehicle is anywhere at all, and then it makes its normal move. In this case, is a 6-inch move. If you were jump infantry, though, you could make a nice fast move.
Well, it's actually, you make your normal move, but you have to end within 6 inches of the hull point.
Okay. So
or not the hull, well, the hull.
So even if you move faster than 6, you can only
point.
move 6.
Right.
All right, so move your 6.
So 6 inches right to the edge is right there.
Yeah, so basically, you're going to do that every single model. Now, a faster way, obviously, would be just to measure 6 inches out and place them all. In some cases, there are going to be restrictions, but we know that this is just a very simple pile out and get ready.
And I'm no longer putting my knob up front.
That's great. Yeah, because you don't want him to be the first thing to die. And he gets to move 3 inches anyways, so
right.
Should be okay.
He doesn't need to be in base to base to fight anyways.
No, he doesn't. Okay, so just check, make sure everything's within 6 inches of the hull. So you don't get to move 6 inches then, you have to move within 6 inches of the hull.
Right.
So it's not quite 6, it'll be 5 then. Because the size of your base is about 1 inch.
Right.
So you're only really moving 5. So keep that into consideration, or take that into consideration.
Also, when you disembark, this movement is susceptible to dangerous and difficult terrain.
Yeah, so this is a normal move.
So if there would be a crater there, if you're disembarking those 6, you have to roll for difficult terrain.
Yes.
And you could only disembark 3 inches or 2 inches or even 1.
Yeah, you just roll that once for the whole unit. So that'll tell you where you're moving, basically. Okay, so now it's the shooting phase. So you get to fire.
Right.
Because
so
you
this,
can,
the
you have
one
assault
advantage is that boys always used to actually try to run to try to get in. But now the running, well, there's no point. There's no time where before an assault you would run and not be able to shoot.
Exactly.
So shooting, unless you don't want to kill the guys in front and not be able to reach the charge, there's no reason not to shoot.
All right, so you have 12 guys. They all have their little shooters. I have no cover. We'll pretend there's a venom thrower right here. I'm just joking. Give them all 5+ cover. All right, so you're hitting on 5s. Whoa, good shot. It's 5 hits, and you're going to wound on 3s. And there's no save to these, right? They're AP5 or AP6? They're AP6, right?
Yes.
And I was just about to take them from the back. Like, nope, I have to take the closest.
So I guess that guy's the closest.
This guy.
And then you go out to either side.
So we'll just kind of 3,
I guess that.
4,
Yeah, whatever.
5.
No, there's only 4.
Oh, 4. So then we'll put this guy back. So that's interesting because that makes shooting before charging a little more dangerous. Because you know the closest are going to die, whereas before it was a choice of the person if they was the closest. It was often a strategy to take the closest so they wouldn't make their charge. So
Now, in this case, I'm close enough. But if I was just in that, like, you know, that range, if I was, because you can
8 or
always
9
pre-measure.
inches or 10
Right.
inches.
So if I was, you know, about right here shooting, it's like, do I want to really take the closest guys away?
Yeah, because you can do a lot more in close combat.
Again, very, very risky. A little more strategy and thinking involved.
So now it's the assault phase. So you're going to declare your charge.
I charge you.
Oh, no way.
Yes. Wait.
What a surprise. All right, so roll your charge distance.
No, before.
Oh, wait, no, I do Overwatch first,
Before.
right?
I always forget to do this in my battle reports, that just a few that I've done. As soon as I declare, you say whether or not you want to do Overwatch.
Oh, I definitely want to do Overwatch. Okay, so I will pass the camera over and do Overwatch.
So you do have a choice whether you can Overwatch or not. Obviously, in this case, there's no reason not to. But if you can't Overwatch if you're in combat.
Right.
And so, say if there was another squad of, like, maybe there's some leftover. There's one boy left over here. And he was maybe not in charge range, and he declared a charge after you. You can only do 1 Overwatch per turn.
So I might be like, oh, he might fail that charge.
Right.
Therefore, I will not Overwatch. Because if he makes a charge, big deal. And if he fails it, then I can Overwatch against a bigger unit.
Right. But if he does make the charge, you can't Overwatch if you're in close combat.
That's right.
And so it negates. So it's kind of, most of the time you're gonna be doing Overwatch, but there might be the time where you choose not to.
Yeah. Usually where multiple combats or multiple assaults are coming into play. So I will definitely do Overwatch. So it's before the models move, it's before they roll, and so it's subject to all the normal shooting except they're fired as snapshots, which means I'll hit on 6s instead of 4s. Okay, so I have to check range and everything. But I have a 12-inch range, and everybody is in range. So that's going to be 26 shots, because it's 30 guys normally, and I lost 4. I've already got the 26 dice right here. But they're snapshots, so they're only hitting on 6s. So here we go. Alright, so I only managed 3 hits. My strength 4, so they resolved on 4s. So 2 guys die, no saves allowed. Because they're AP 5.
And they are from the front.
That's right, so it's the front that have to go. Now, Overwatch fire does not cause leadership rolls, not that you would anyways in this case. Although I guess you're 10, so you're not fearless anymore. And it does not cause pinning. So basically you can't stop a charge from shooting, except to kill enough guys that they can't get to. So that's Overwatch, so now we'll go into the charge.